Your roadmap to the latest in auto. Welcome to Highway Herald. Today, we're diving into one of the most dramatic defense disputes of the decade. U.S. President Donald Trump is demanding $20 billion in submarine contracts for American shipyards, while Ottawa stands firm, charting its own path. At the heart of this standoff is Canada's $60 billion Canadian Patrol Submarine Project, now narrowed to Germany's ThyssenKrupp and South Korea's Hanwha, reshaping alliances and fueling a geopolitical storm. Canada's submarine gamble. What's driving the decision? Canada's aging Victoria-class submarines, bought second-hand from the UK in 1998, were never meant to serve this long. Plagued by maintenance issues and poor availability, sometimes leaving only one boat operational, the fleet can no longer meet the nation's defense needs. Meanwhile, global dynamics have shifted. Melting Arctic ice has opened strategic waterways, Russia has boosted under-ice patrols, China is expanding its Pacific presence, and NATO continues pressing Canada to meet its 2% GDP defense spending target. In response, Ottawa launched the Canadian Patrol Submarine Project, CPSP, a $60 billion program to deliver next-generation subs by the mid-2030s before the Victorias retire. These submarines will be Arctic-ready, long-enduring, stealth-capable, and domestically supported, with Halifax, Vancouver, and suppliers across provinces benefiting from jobs and technology growth. Notably, Canada is bypassing U.S. yards, favoring German and South Korean contenders to ensure control and resilience. With a 2035 deadline looming, every year lost adds pressure to deliver on this ambitious gamble. But Canada's push for independence didn't sit well in Washington, especially with President Donald Trump. Trump's billion-dollar ultimatum, America first or bust. Donald Trump demanded that if Canada was buying submarines, the contracts worth $20 billion should flow to American shipyards. He framed it as a win-win: safeguard U.S. jobs, support local industries, and reinforce his America First policy. The proposal grabbed headlines and stirred both nations' defense sectors. Canada flatly rejected the idea. Ottawa is determined to grow its own defense industry, maintain sovereignty over sustainment, and avoid exposure to volatile U.S. politics. Memories of steel and aluminum tariffs, which threatened critical inputs, only strengthened its resolve. Trump's allies blasted the move as a betrayal of American workers and a blow to Allied deterrence. They warned that excluding U.S. yards weakens economies of scale, raising costs even for the U.S. Navy. Canada, however, countered that diversification reduces risks, especially when U.S. yards are already overwhelmed with Columbia and Virginia-class projects. The result is a heated standoff. Trump insists allies should fund American jobs, while Canada bets on independence and resilience. And with Trump's demand rejected, Ottawa turned to the real contenders waiting in the wings. Before we delve deeper, we'd appreciate it if you could subscribe to Highway Herald. Your support fuels our passion to create more content like this. Canada's new submarine strategy: two titans in the ring. Canada's submarine race has narrowed to two contenders: South Korea's Hanwha Ocean and Germany's ThyssenKrupp Marine Systems, TKMS. Hanwha's KSS-3 design emphasizes speed and modern tech, featuring lithium-ion batteries for longer submerged endurance, advanced sensors, and space for future upgrades. With contracts signed by 2026, they promise 4 boats by 2035 and a 12-sub fleet by the 2040s. They also commit to dual-coast Canadian maintenance hubs, securing domestic jobs and expertise. TKMS, meanwhile, leans on NATO credibility. Their 212CD model, already adopted by Germany and Norway, builds on the proven 212A platform with hydrogen fuel cell propulsion, offering reliable endurance and stealth. Canada would gain interoperability, shared logistics, and reduced risk by joining an established European program. For Ottawa, the decision weighs more than technical brochures. Arctic survivability, stealth, endurance, and local industry participation all matter. The choice is stark. Hanwha offers rapid innovation and aggressive timelines, while TKMS provides alliance familiarity and stability. But Canada's decision has ripple effects, especially for American suppliers suddenly left on the sidelines. America's fallout, vanishing jobs and waning clout. For the U.S., Canada's submarine decision feels like a blow to both industry and influence. American shipyards, already strained with Columbia and Virginia-class programs, had viewed Canadian orders as a stabilizer for steel mills, machining shops, and electronics firms. That demand has now vanished, leaving smaller suppliers and second-tier contractors most exposed. Without Canadian diversification, higher per-unit costs could ripple across naval and even aerospace programs. The workforce also loses out. Skilled welders, electricians, and technicians miss an opportunity for steady jobs at a time when the defense sector is struggling to recruit and retain talent. Politically, the setback dents Washington's industrial diplomacy, long used to bind allies into U.S.-centric supply chains. Critics say tariff-first policies made this inevitable, while Trump supporters argue it proves America must double down on its own programs and export strategies. Strategically, the bigger concern looms. If even Canada turns away, can the U.S. still claim to be the indispensable arsenal of democracy? And that brings us to the wider stage, where NATO and global alliances are now at stake. A geopolitical shift, NATO's future on the line. Canada's rejection of U.S. shipyards signals more than a procurement choice. It represents a sovereignty statement with global consequences. By aligning with South Korea's Hanwha or Germany's ThyssenKrupp, Ottawa reinforces the trend toward a multipolar defense economy, where regional hubs replace reliance on American primes. Europe already pursues this path with joint programs and mixed fleets, and Canada's move strengthens that shift. For NATO, the implications cut both ways. Fragmented fleets may complicate logistics, training, and munition sharing, but diversification creates resilience, shielding allies from single-point failures, sanctions, or cyber attacks. Canada is betting that redundancy outweighs integration costs, provided cooperation is maintained through standards and exercises. Adversaries like China and Russia stand to benefit if Allied output slows or Arctic deterrence weakens, making Canada's 2035 delivery timeline critical. Beyond defense, submarine technology, advanced batteries, coatings, and autonomy could spill into civilian industries. For Washington, it's a warning. Adapt with faster timelines, better financing, and trust building, or risk losing its central role. Verdict: Canada's submarine defiance and America's dilemma. This dispute is bigger than contracts. It's about sovereignty, credibility, and the shape of future alliances. For Canada, it's a declaration of independence in defense procurement. Protect Arctic sovereignty, build domestic industry, and diversify partners. For the U.S., it's a missed opportunity that raises doubts about its role as the anchor of Allied defense. Trump's $20 billion ultimatum may have backfired, nudging Canada closer to Europe and Asia. With Hanwha and ThyssenKrupp now leading the race, Ottawa is charting a future that reshapes its navy and perhaps NATO itself. But now, let's hear from you. Do you think Canada made the right move by cutting U.S. shipyards out of the deal? Will NATO become stronger through diversification or weaker through fragmentation? Could this decision mark the start of a larger trend, where more allies turn away from American defense suppliers? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. We love hearing your perspectives. Before we wrap up, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and stay tuned to Highway Herald for the latest updates in vehicles, defense, and the shifting gears of global policy. You won't want to miss what's coming next. Thanks for watching and see you next time. You can now check out any of the videos on the screen. There's more exciting and informative content waiting for you.